What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you guys my review for Dragon Ball Daima episode 1. And honestly, I'm so excited to be talking about Dragon Ball again on the channel because it's felt like forever. I know majority of my viewer base at the moment is Boruto fans and Naruto fans, but I do know that I did have some people that would follow my channel for Dragon Ball 2 back when the super manga was more active, and pretty much during that time, because I wasn't really around posting when the super anime was on air. But I have an opportunity now to cover a Dragon Ball anime, and I'm very excited to do so. Of course, still hoping that the Dragon Ball Super manga does come back sometime in the near future, as well as the Dragon Ball Super anime. But at least in the meantime, now we got this, and I'm pretty excited to talk about it. So let's get it started. So Dragon Ball Daima episode 1 was actually a extra length episode. So the pilot episode is pretty much, I think, 31 or 32 minutes instead of your traditional weekly episode being about 20 to 24. So I'm counting the credits and all that too, of course. But yeah, it hit about 32 minutes, I think, with the credits. So a little bit more lengthy than what a normal weekly episode would give you. But I'm not complaining. More content for us. And honestly, this was a pretty refreshing episode because we got to see a mix of things, ranging from action to new characters to a lot of new lore that was dropped. So honestly, I really did enjoy the balance that we got in this episode. So let's talk about how we kick things off. So we've started this off with the Dragon Balls being explained. I think it's a pretty, simple and easy way to start off a episode like that, and I liked what they did with that. And then following that, we got to see pretty much a run through of Goku's history, and this is being talked about by someone who's watching these scenes, it feels like. And as they're showing some of these Goku scenes, I do want to say I was enjoying the music that was going on. The art style is really, really good. I'm a very big fan of it. There's a lot of scenes where it feels very manga resemblant, and just feels like a modern style of what old school Dragon Ball was, but with like a modern touch. Like the art designs definitely feel better than what Super did at the start. I can easily say that, and this is very resemblant, I think, again, of the manga style, along with mostly, I'd say, the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. It has some similarities to that as well. So I really like the art style. The episode itself is titled Conspiracy. So we kick off with two figures who are rewatching the Buu Saga events, wondering how Deborah fell prey to Babadi's magic. We are then revealed to one of these characters being named Degisu, and Degisu is revealed to be the younger brother of the current Supreme Kai. So I'm already messing with this because we're expanding on lore here. And why I say that is because the Supreme Kai, overlooks the whole universe. So the fact that the Supreme Kai has a brother that we hadn't heard of till now gets me thinking that this character is also going to be involved a lot with overlooking something and being involved, in some lore expansion stuff we're going to get as well. Which turns out to be right because this show, as some of you may know, is focused around the demon realm. So, cool reveal there. And the other guy next to him, his name at that point hadn't been revealed, but I am going to talk about that too. We got to see a lot of these moments in the Buu Saga get reanimated, and my God, some of these scenes were beautiful. It was great to see again. And another thing I want to say is art style wise, they actually showed some stuff too when they were running through the whole Goku thing at the start. And Raditz looked great, Frieza looked great, Cell in particular looked amazing. Like, the design was probably the best design I've seen of Cell in an art shot in an anime so far. Great design. Boo also looked great. Honestly, all three, four of those designs were really fire. Um, so, as we're watching some of these scenes get reanimated, the first one we get to see is Vegeta destroying the tournament stands, where pretty much he was being controlled, and we get that scene, where Supreme Kai's trying to stop Goku and Vegeta from fighting, and Vegeta sends that blast, which ends up taking out some of the people in the stands. We also got to see some of Goku versus Majin Vegeta get reanimated, and as that was being shown, Degasu and the other guy were wondering how people outside of the world could be this strong. They were wondering if they're Majin. And I'm already very happy that they started off like that because, again, I like Dragon Ball lore, and the fact that they're assuming that gets me to think we're going to learn more about Majins overall in this series. And I'm very excited for that because that's something, we could have learned more back in the day. So this is very good for story because I feel like the most you probably learned about Majin could be from Dragon Ball Xenoverse, honestly. And so it's good to see that we're going to be expanding on that in the anime too somewhere. So animated pretty nice. These are like short segments of some Buu Saga moments, but everything looks pretty clean. Art, it looks fire. Animation looks good. So after that, we get Buu Awakening being reanimated. Degasu and the other guy are seeing Bobity's greed pretty much overall, that he wants to rule the outside world and he wants to rule the demon realm. And then they also get to see Dabura eaten by Buu. And it seems like the other guy that's next to Degasu is actually the next in line for Demon King. After that, we get Vegeta's sacrifice get reanimated. Also looks really, really good. They also get to see the Dragon Balls being used in the Buu Saga. And they end up responding to that, not saying what are those, but they end up saying it's different from the ones they're used to. Meaning that we have more Dragon Balls added to the story, and them being in the Demon Realm is perfectly cool with me. New set being there really could make sense depending on how they say it, and so far I'm on board. Degasu ends up recognizing that this dragon is not one he's familiar with, but he knows Porunga. So he didn't know Shenron, but he knows Porunga. But he's taking notes right now of Shenron. We get Buu killing Babidi reanimated. Nice scene there too. Gotenks versus Buu and Gohan versus Buu reanimated. Amazing stuff to see. Again, the art and the animation combo is just fire. Look great. And then we also got Goku's Spirit Bomb at the end to finish Buu being reanimated as well. It basically felt like a gift to Buu Saga fans in a way to see all that stuff reanimated. But it does really connect to the story, that we have coming up, so it makes sense that they did it. But I'm really, really happy they reanimated some of that stuff because just seeing that again just felt pretty awesome. So we get the reveal of this guy's name. His name is Goma. So he's now King Goma, the king of the demon realm. And they're not really too fearful. Him and Degasu aren't really too fearful right now because Babidi and Buu are defeated. Then Degasu's older sister, Dr. Arinsu, arrives to the scene. She congratulates Goma, but she does warn him of the people who beat Buu. So that kind of gets him a little worried and on edge about that. But let me get back to the other point. Arinsu, another relative of the Supreme Kai. I'm very happy again that we're expanding on this. She seems to be like a scientist type of person. So because they also talked about her having research that was being funded by the previous Demon King, being Deborah. So it seems like that's one of her things, to do research and stuff of that nature. So we'll see what kind of role she plays later down the line, because I feel like that detail is going to come into play. So pretty much Goma suggests that they use the Earth Dragon Balls because they seem easy to find. The Demon Realm seems to have a set of them too, like I had said before, but it seems like it's a set of only 3, but they're protected by the 3 powerful Tamagamis. And I feel like the fact that they're mentioning these already is going to play a role with our heroes later down the line, because I think they're going to have to go and find this other set of Dragon Balls to make everything right. So he suggests that he's going to make them young. That's going to be his wish. Arinsu just appears again out of nowhere and just kind of laughs at the idea. So she was eavesdropping. We then get a reveal about an item that's been passed around from Demon King to Demon King, which is the third evil eye. And apparently the last person who had it, though, was Deborah's dad, who was named Abora. So, little lore there, a little background, the demon realm. Goma says that he's going to make speeches right now, and then after that, he's pretty much going to make speeches to the three demon worlds and to the Majin, and after that, they can head over to Earth to get these Dragon Balls. And he also says that they're going to bring a Namek with them named Neva, and a guy is seen eavesdropping into this conversation. And since I've watched the trailer, and I'm sure many of you guys have too, we know that this character is a new guy named Glorio. And that is the title of the next episode, so we are going to see him again very shortly. Next, we cut over to Neva, who is now shown. He is definitely an old-ass Namekian, that's for sure. And they end up leaving together in a space pod. There were some funny scenes, though, here, comedy-wise, between Goma and Neva for sure, and Degasu as well. Neva seems to be a guy who's very forgetful and old, and they were cracking jokes that he was so forgetful that apparently he hadn't showered in a while, and they asked him, how long has it been since you showered? And he said, I must have showered after being in some mud a couple years ago. So that kind of caught them off guard, and the expressions were pretty funny. But good comedic scenes we did have too with these characters. It felt very Akira Toriyama-esque kind of comedy. So I did enjoy seeing that throughout this whole episode as well. So as they're leaving in the space pod, they have to give a pin to this big creature to get to the outside world. They end up requesting to go to Universe 7 to a specific number, which was number 3, which seems to be near Earth. And they found out that Arinsu apparently also made a trip there too before they did. So it's like she's, beating them to the punch for some reason. We then cut over to Earth, where we get to see, the main cast that we haven't seen up until now in the present time. And they are celebrating Trunks' birthday post-Buu Saga. He's turning 9. Krillin ends up calling him short, but Goku says that Saiyans get tall at around 15, but Vegeta didn't get that memo. So Goku basically took a funny shot at Vegeta. Love that. And Vegeta, I thought was going to ask him to fight or something during it, but he didn't do all that. We find out that the Supreme Kai and Kibito are unfused thanks to Buu. So some people are wondering if this is a retcon because of some of the stuff that happened in Super 2. I don't really think this is a retcon. This is just adding in more explanation to how they may have unfused. But I feel like they have to fuse back together at the end of this series because in Super they wish themselves to unfuse. Otherwise, that writing doesn't make sense. So that's what happened, I guess, for this series, which makes sense because Supreme Kai's involved, but as long as they fix that up at the end, it shouldn't be a big writing problem. Gohan is not at this party. He's apparently busy studying, according to Goku. And right after that, Goku and Vegeta actually decide to spar and have a little training match. In this fight, we're getting overall good-looking fight. Art looks pretty good. Animation looks pretty solid. Nothing like insane this episode in the sense of, I know, like, for example, a lot of people talk about Toei Animation does some of these One Piece fights. And I want to let you guys know that it's not anything like that in this episode, but it looks really, really good nonetheless. We're probably going to get some higher quality fights in general when we get more and more deeper into the show. This is just, more of like a training match, and then we had some reanimated scenes that look really, really good. So the fact that we were already getting that quality to begin with and it not being at its peak just shows you we're eating good. Especially after, the rough start Dragon Ball Super had on the art and animation again. Or on that end, it just feels good to see this. With Daima, at least. So, after that, in this fight, Goku pretty much, it seems like, defeats Vegeta. He lands a big blow, but then later they're seen fighting again, so I guess he didn't defeat him completely. But there was a scene where we had like a Gallic gun Kamehameha clash, and then Goku pretty much got the upper hand on Vegeta and landed a big blow on him. So that's what had happened. Then we head over to the lookout where a ship has appeared. Dende asks if Degusu is a Supreme Kai. He says no, but reveals that Dende's ancestors actually came from the demon realm, and it's because of that that they have pointy ears. There we go, more lore expansion right there, more about the Namekians. Neva is asked by Degusu and Goma to look around with his powers and do something to bring the Dragon Balls there. So he looks around with his powers, but says that the balls have recently been turned to stone. He still summons them to the lookout, though, which was a really cool looking scene. The stuff he did as, a Namekian, which is probably, some of the powers he has being like a really old Namekian and having everything unlocked, was stuff that I don't think I've seen any other Namekian do regarding the Dragon Balls yet. So that was really cool to see. He also then restored the Dragon Balls sooner, too, than they were expected to be used again. Dende ends up telling them that he'd rather die before revealing the password, and then he tries to stop Degusu and gets hit with the chop. Shenron is summoned by Degusu, though, because he took notes already at the start of the episode on how to summon Shenron. And everyone at the party now is seeing the sky go black, so they kind of have an idea something's up. Supreme Kai ends up sensing a presence as well. Goma pretty much tries turning all that fought Boo into children, and then Shenron asks, what age do you want them to be? Degusu ends up saying to about first grader age, so that's roughly, everyone is going to be around that realm of like 7, 8 years old, I want to say, maybe 6, that's the lowest, but somewhere in that realm of 6 to 8 is a general good guess, I feel like. And that the ones that are already kids would become babies. That was also part of the wish. So that kind of writes Goten and Trunks out in a way in the story. I feel like that was the way they wanted to do that, but yeah. Everyone is now turning into kids as the episode ends, and the opening song plays at the end of the episode, which leads us to a very slight preview of the next episode being titled Glorio, and that's pretty much it for this episode. So all in all, when it comes to music was really solid. Visuals looked really good in the sense of whoever directed the episode made things look a very specific way, and I think it fit the tone really, really well. The art and animation, I'm going to give a 10 out of 10 to, for sure. Easily looking like the most consistent Dragon Ball episode series that we might get if it keeps this path, because wow, I don't think I've seen a pilot episode of Dragon Ball look this good. If Dragon Ball Super comes like this, wow, we're about to be eating good whenever that happens. But all in all, art style and animation 10 out of 10. Overall, the episode itself, I'm very pleasantly pleased, because Daima was something I wasn't super big on when it first got announced. I wasn't a hater either, but I was like very skeptical because I've seen how GT's gone with the whole kid premise and all that. But when you figure out the whole grand scale of what's going on in this show, especially connecting it to the demon realm, and it seems like they're gonna explore the demon realm and everything like that, I feel like the premise is really good. I feel like the reasoning for why the villain is doing this is valid. And it fits the theme of Dragon Ball really well. As long as these people being young is a one arc thing, it's cool with me. One of the main issues I had also in GT personally was I didn't like Goku sticking as a kid after that one arc. I don't like the Black Star Dragon Ball arc to begin with, but that just made it worse for me. This, I know we're going to get them back to regular size because this takes place after Buu and before Super. So I know we're good on that end. I'm just going to hopefully enjoy the journey for what it is. And I was pleasantly surprised in this episode. I'm going to give it a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10, which is not something I was expecting. I was honestly expecting, myself to maybe think the series would give a 7 out of 10 episode, maybe 7.5 to 8 out of 10 at most, if, they did things decent, but they surprised me. Everything overall was just pretty well produced, and I'm definitely liking the story so far from episode 1 at least. So it could possibly be my favorite Dragon Ball pilot episode. Maybe, maybe not, but it's definitely up there in my top 2 for sure. I think for my pilots for Dragon Ball, my least favorite pilot episode is GT. My most favorite is probably between this one and Z's. So that's kind of where I'm at with everything right now. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this Dragon Ball Daima episode 1 review. Definitely let me know what you guys thought of everything in the comments below too. I'm definitely curious to hear you guys' thoughts. And yeah, hopefully we got more Dragon Ball to talk about on the channel again. That's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. And as always, I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.